Hi, I'm Paisley. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. One click from you means more stories can be shared. Help us reach 1,000 subscribers and make a difference. Let's begin. Life with Mason looked perfect on Instagram. The luxury condo downtown, weekend trips to wine country, and those ridiculous just because flower deliveries to my office. 3 years of marriage that seemed straight out of a romantic comedy. We met at a charity gala where he outbid everyone for a weekend getaway package I had my eye on. Then he just handed it to me. I'm Mason Moore, and I believe this belongs to you. Smooth, right? 6 months later, we were planning a wedding. That's when he first mentioned the prenup. It's standard procedure, babe. My business partners insist. You understand, right? I did sign it. Why wouldn't I? I was marrying for love, not money. Mason handled all the paperwork, said his lawyer would file everything. Last Tuesday, I borrowed Mason's phone when mine died. That's when I saw them. Text messages to someone saved as NC Properties. Last night was amazing. Can't wait to see you again. Your place or mine? There were dozens more. Photos, meeting times, hotel confirmations. I confronted him that evening, phone in hand. Who's NC Properties, Mason? He didn't even flinch. Business contact. Business contacts don't send lingerie photos. That's when he laughed. Actually laughed in my face. What are you going to do about it, Paisley? File for divorce? Go ahead. Maybe I will. He shrugged, pouring himself a whiskey. Prenup says you get basically nothing. My lawyer made sure of that. You can't be serious. After everything... Everything what? I provided for you. That condo, my money, your car, my money, your little shopping sprees. All me, baby. I started packing that night. Called my best friend Diane in tears. Just grab what's yours and get out, she said. You can stay with me. While gathering documents, I found a file labeled Personal Assets. Inside were statements for accounts I'd never seen, properties and states we'd never visited. Mason has money hidden everywhere, I told Diane over coffee the next morning. And I think he's been moving it around. Diane stirred her latte thoughtfully. Did you ever see the filed prenup? The court-stamped copy? No, Mason said his lawyer handled everything. That's interesting. Diane tapped her nails on the table. I've been a paralegal for 8 years. For a prenup to be valid, both parties need legal representation, proper disclosure of all assets, and it needs to be filed correctly. What are you saying? I'm saying you should check if that prenup was ever actually filed. Mason seems like the type who'd cut corners if he thought he could get away with it. For the first time since seeing those texts, I felt a spark of something other than heartbreak. Something like hope. Or maybe revenge. You think I might have a case? I think, Diane said with a smile, that we should find out exactly what Mason did or didn't file. Because if he messed up, Mr. Perfect might not be laughing much longer. I straightened my shoulders. Then let's find out. The next morning, Diane and I headed to the county courthouse. The clerk at the records desk looked bored as we approached. I need to verify if a prenuptial agreement was filed 3 years ago. Last name Moore. She typed lazily. Nothing under that name in our system. Could you double-check? It would have been filed in June 2021. More typing. Look, lady, I've been working here 15 years. If it was filed, it would show up. There's nothing. Diane squeezed my arm. This is good, Paisley. This is really good. We called Theo Martinez from the courthouse steps. I'd worked with him at my old marketing firm before he switched careers to law. Can you meet today? It's urgent. 2 hours later, we sat in Theo's modest office as I explained everything. So you're saying Mason claimed the prenup was filed, but there's no record? Exactly. What does that mean legally? Theo leaned forward. For a prenup to be valid in this state, both parties need independent legal counsel, full financial disclosure, and proper filing. Did you have your own lawyer review it? No, Mason said his guy would handle everything. Red flag number 1. And did Mason provide complete financial records before you signed? I shook my head. Red flag number 2. Finally, it needs to be properly filed. If there's no record at the courthouse, it's not valid, Diane finished. Bingo. Without proper filing, that prenup is about as legally binding as a napkin with scribbles. My phone buzzed with a text from Mason. Lawyer says divorce papers ready next week. Hope you're enjoying slumming it with your friends. I showed Theo the message. He has no idea, does he? Theo smiled. Keep it that way. Element of surprise is your friend here. That afternoon, I returned to our condo when Mason was at work. Using the spare key, I went straight to his home office and photographed every financial document I could find. Back at Diane's place, we spread everything out on her dining table. Look at this. She pointed to a statement from an account in Wyoming. And this one in Nevada. And what's this company in the Caymans? I never knew about any of these. He's got at least $3 million tucked away that you didn't know about. My phone rang. Mason again. What were you doing in our condo? The security system notified me. Getting my things. Is that a problem? Stay out unless I'm there. And remember, you signed away any right to my assets. My lawyer's already talking to the judge. Whatever you say, Mason. I hung up and turned to Diane. He's so smug. We met Theo again the next day with the financial documents. This is better than I expected, Theo said, reviewing everything. Not only is the prenup invalid, but he failed to disclose substantial assets. In this state, that's considered fraud on the court. What does that mean for me? It means instead of walking away with nothing, you're entitled to an equitable division of all marital assets, including those he tried to hide. He'd lose his mind if he knew. Which is exactly why we don't tell him yet. Theo tapped his pen on the desk. Let him think he's winning. Let him get cocky. The more arrogant he is going into court, the harder he'll fall when the judge hears our case. For the first time since this nightmare began, I smiled. So we let him dig his own grave? Exactly. And we'll be there with shovels to help him along. Over the next 2 weeks, Theo prepped me for court while Mason flaunted his freedom all over social media. Photos of him with some blonde at our favorite restaurant. Check-ins at clubs we used to go to together. Just ignore it, Diane advised, scrolling through his Instagram. He's trying to get a reaction. It's working, I admitted, grabbing my keys. I need to pick up more documents from his office. His assistant, Natalie, said she'd leave them at the front desk. But when I arrived at Mason's real estate firm, Natalie was waiting in the lobby herself. Can we talk? Not here. We walked to a coffee shop across the street. I've worked for Mason for 5 years, Natalie said, sliding a USB drive across the table. And I've watched him screw over everyone who trusts him. Why are you helping me? Because last month he promised me a promotion, then gave it to the new girl he's sleeping with. Plus, I'm tired of creating fake expense reports to hide his affairs. Fake expenses? He charges everything to the company. Hotel rooms, jewelry, weekend trips, all coded as client development. There's proof on that drive, along with emails where he discusses hiding assets from you. I clutched the drive. Natalie, this is... Just make sure he gets what's coming to him. Saturday night, our friend Chelsea threw a housewarming party. I almost didn't go until Diane insisted it would look suspicious if I avoided social events. Big mistake. Mason showed up with his new girlfriend, the blonde from Instagram, wearing my grandmother's diamond pendant, the one he claimed was missing when I moved out. Paisley, you look, well, considering everything. His smirk made my blood boil. Nice necklace. I nodded toward his date. Looks familiar? Oh, this old thing? The blonde touched it. Mason says it's been in his family for generations. The room fell uncomfortably silent. Several friends looked away, embarrassed. Is that what he told you? Interesting. Mason gripped her arm. Let's get a drink. As they walked away, I heard him loud enough for everyone to hear. Ignore her. She's just bitter about the prenup. Poor thing gets basically nothing. I bit my tongue so hard I tasted blood. Monday morning, Theo and I met with Mason's attorney, Richard Gorman. A slick guy with cufflinks worth more than my car? My client is prepared to offer a one-time settlement of $25,000, provided your client waives all future claims. Theo didn't even blink. We'll see what the judge says on Wednesday. The prenup is airtight, Gorman laughed. But we're being generous here. We appreciate your generosity, Theo replied coolly. We'll take our chances in court. After they left, Theo turned to me. Remember, let me do the talking initially. When I signal, that's when you mention you never received proof of filing. And the hidden assets? We save those for after the prenup is invalidated, one bomb at a time. Tuesday night, I couldn't sleep. I checked and rechecked all our evidence, organized in a binder Diane had labeled Mason's downfall. My phone buzzed with a text from Mason. Last chance. Take the $25K or walk away with nothing. Your choice. I didn't respond. Instead, I laid out my outfit for court. Not the meek, defeated ex-wife he expected, but a woman ready for war. Just wait, I whispered to my reflection. Tomorrow you won't be laughing anymore. Wednesday morning arrived with clear skies and a strange sense of calm. Diane drove us to the courthouse where Theo waited on the steps with his briefcase. Ready for this? He adjusted his tie. More than ready. Inside, courtroom 305 was nearly empty except for Mason and his attorney in expensive suits, looking bored and checking their watches. Mason smirked when he saw me. Still time to take the offer. I sat silently beside Theo as the bailiff called, All rise for the Honorable Judge Eleanor Wilkins. Judge Wilkins was a stern-looking woman in her 60s with reading glasses perched on her nose. She reviewed our case file briefly. I understand we're here for divorce proceedings. Let's keep this straightforward. Mason's attorney stood first. Your Honor, this should be simple. My client and Mrs. Moore signed a prenuptial agreement that clearly outlines the division of assets. Judge Wilkins nodded. I'll need to see that agreement. Gorman handed up their copy. As you can see, the terms are quite clear. The judge flipped through the pages. Where's the court filing stamp? Gorman looked confused. Excuse me? The filing stamp. This appears to be an unregistered copy. Theo stood up. Your Honor, if I may, we've checked county records extensively. This prenuptial agreement was never properly filed with the court. Mason leaned forward, whispering urgently to Gorman. Furthermore, Theo continued, my client was not provided independent legal counsel when signing, nor was there full financial disclosure as required by state law. Judge Wilkins looked directly at Mason. Is this true, Mr. Moore? There must be some mistake, Mason stammered. My lawyer handled all the paperwork. Well, your lawyer failed you, Judge Wilkins declared. Without proper filing and these other deficiencies, this prenuptial agreement is invalid and unenforceable in this court. The blood drained from Mason's face. The smug smile vanished. But that's impossible, he shouted, standing up. Check again. Mr. Moore, control yourself or I'll hold you in contempt, Judge Wilkins warned. Theo was already pulling out our next stack of evidence. Your Honor, we also have documentation showing Mr. Moore concealed substantial assets during this process. Judge Wilkins raised an eyebrow. Proceed. For the next 30 minutes, Theo detailed every hidden account, every property, every lie. Natalie's USB drive had provided the final missing pieces. Mason's face turned from white to red to purple. Twice his lawyer had to physically restrain him from interrupting. Given these circumstances, Judge Wilkins concluded, I'm ordering a full accounting of all marital assets, followed by equitable distribution. Mr. Moore will also cover Mrs. Moore's legal fees. She slammed her gavel. We'll reconvene in 2 weeks for final settlement. Outside the courtroom, Mason cornered me by the water fountain. Paisley, listen to me. I made a mistake. We can work this out. Like you worked out hiding millions from me? I was stupid, okay? I never should have... Save it. I held up my hand. 3 years, Mason. 3 years of lies. Please, I still love you. We can start over. No, we can't. But I should thank you. For what? For laughing in my face when I found those texts. If you'd shown even an ounce of remorse then, I might have forgiven you. Now I know exactly who you are. 6 months later, I moved into my new condo, paid for with my portion of the settlement. Diane helped me unpack while Theo brought champagne to celebrate. Did you hear about Mason? Diane asked, opening boxes. No, what now? His business partners pushed him out after the scandal. Apparently, he was skimming from company accounts, too. And that blonde girlfriend? Left him for his former best friend. I should have felt vindicated, but mostly I felt free. The money was nice, but knowing I'd stood up for myself was worth more. That night, I deleted Mason's number and all our old photos. Some lessons are expensive, but I'd paid in full and learned exactly what I was worth. And it was so much more than he ever realized. The story has ended. Do you think prenuptial agreements protect people or just make it easier for wealthy individuals to discard relationships without consequences? Would you sign one yourself, knowing it could limit what you receive if things go wrong? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinions matter to our community. If you enjoyed Paisley's journey to justice, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more revenge stories. Each subscription helps us create more content like this. Thanks for watching.